not as bad as it could have.
The brain. It's high above the city now, far away from any innocence. I can end this now. Stop the Absolute and spare the city. The stage is set for my final act. Mistra's bidding and the redemption that lies beyond. You brought me right where I need to be. I have no right to ask more of you. It's time I spirited you to safety. For this is a fate I must face alone. For now, at least. There's endless wonder out there. Infinite possibilities. Perhaps fate will bring us back together before the universe dims. Fugamus Inferni Blandimenta. Up you go then, Gale. Let's make this count. The whole world's watching.
To die. Come to me. Surrender and live. Thrall!
Thrall? No, I think you're mistaken. The name's Gale of Waterdeep. A pleasure to make your acquaintance, though our time together will be exceptionally brief. Farewell, and happy land.
Everything you did, everything you sacrificed, it was worth it. For this.
He did it. He actually did it. He blew up the Nether brain. And the tadpole's gone. Finally. Gale gave his life for us. For everyone. And now he's gone.
All that wisdom. Lost. Forever. All so that we could survive. I owe him my life. We all do.
A most noble sacrifice. We have achieved all that I desired. Thanks to Gale, we are free.
The Githyanki are leaving. It would have been hard to imagine parting ways from them peacefully once.
With the Githyanki gone, there's nothing left but the silence of the city. Smoldering, waiting to be rebuilt.
So, what now? I don't know about you, but I could use a flagon, or 3 of ale.
Rest, rejoice, and remember Gale, the wizard who sacrificed himself to save the world.
I will not be joining you. I fear my presence will be no more welcome in the streets of the city than it ever was.
I can't believe I'm about to say this, but part of me will miss you.
I will miss you too.
Now that you no longer live in each other's minds, it's hard to tell if the mind flare is being sincere, though perhaps no harder than it ever was.
Lest we forget, there are still graves to dig, injured to thank, warriors to exalt. They carved our course. Honor them with each and every step you take.
We did it, soldier. The city's going to be all right. And so are you. Engine's finally cooked. Held on just long enough. So, how'd I do? So are you. My friend. My companion. I adore you. Careful! Hot! I never gave up. I did my best. I did my best. It's the one thing I can't beat, isn't it? I wanted to live in my city with my friends. But life is for the living. And I saw... Goodbye, son. Goodbye, sea. Goodbye.
It's over. And it's all because of you. You, who were destined to become a thrall. Thanks to you, there will be no Illithid Empire, no Death God's tyranny. You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast. You are the saviors of Baldur's Gate.
Last night was perfect. Saving the world is quite the aphrodisiac. Well, we may have put a stop to the Absolute and rid ourselves of the tadpoles, but too many of my own concerns went untended as a result. Now I must try to rectify that. See to my own affairs. Little point in saving the world only to have no clear place in it afterwards. This is something I have to do for myself. What we shared was special to me. But I think our paths diverge from here on. But who knows? Perhaps we'll meet again. Though, hopefully not after being abducted. Be good. And if you can't be good, just don't get caught.
Six months have passed since you defeated the Netherbrain. And since then, you have seen more of life than you ever thought possible. You are greeted as a savior, a champion, a hero. But sometimes you feel like something else entirely. An adventurer, a traveler, a survivor. You faced down the gods. You thwarted the grand design. Anything seems possible. But before you can write the next chapter of your story, you must end this one.
Thou wert called here, some from above, some below. For with thine bond, together thou hast kept the wheel of fate spinning when it threatened to halt. Though thou wert drawn far apart in the months after the collapse of the Absolute, tonight, fate renews thy bond once more. Thou shouldst take care to preserve it. It is a great weapon, wielded in the hand of good. Go. Know one another once more.
First in my heart.
Starting to wonder if you'd show up. Honest. Oh, come here, will you? It's been forever. You feel a little more substantial than before. Less camping and scrounging off the land, I take it. Same. In fact, I found a nice meadow not far from where I live now. Every now and again, I'll spend the night there. For old time's sake. I'm glad you seem well. Truly. I had no doubt. But I'm glad to hear you say it all the same. Must I? You presume a great deal. I'm joking. Of course I want to know. Tell me all. As am I. It's well deserved. And I dare anyone to argue otherwise. Hopefully these meetups will become a regular occurrence. It's not that I miss the tadpoles, but at least it brought us together. Now we've got to make the extra effort ourselves. I'm sure we will, but let's be proactive about it all the same. We're more than capable. After all, we've faced down bigger threats than wrangling together a few social calendars. Don't be a stranger.
Have to keep going.
Now, my dear friend, it's been an age, has it not? You're looking very well indeed. Our skeletal friend will be very pleased to see I found my way here, despite my invitation getting lost in the post. Busy as ever. Better that than the reverse, wouldn't you say? Every major publishing house on the Sword Coast has been vying for my upcoming book on the subject of our adventures together. I've gotten quite good at replicating your signature, so you needn't even bother with the release form. You might help me with the title, though. I'm considering The Hero and Me. What do you think? I knew you would. Perhaps, once the manuscript is finished, you'd even be willing to write a foreword? Or better yet, I'll write a draft and you can just sign your name. Better still, I'll sign it for you. Your success really has been wonderful for my reputation. But you mustn't let me hog your attention all night, my friend. You've many friends to chat to, and I'd love to listen in.
I wish he were here.
Oh, hello. Let me guess, you've got some suggestions about the music choice. You have no idea who I am, do you? I thought Withers might have set the stage a little. I owe him a favor, one he is eternally invoking. I thought honoring the worthy was a fair price to pay for Withers to pull me out of the fugue plane. Alas, one purgatory to another. Languishing in obscurity. Cyric knew what he was doing when he punished me for that song, the prick. Before I was banished to the fugue plane, I had song prayers coming out the proverbial ears. Guess how many I get now? None. I'm washed up, I'm afraid. Suppose I'll get back to it then.
There you are. I was... Gods, I must look a mess. I just rolled out from under a pesky ogre when Withers yanked me in. Oh, I didn't mean... Well, I didn't mean that. I just gutted the ogre, not... Yeah. How about I change the subject before I dig this hole any deeper? It's so good to see you. And I've got so much to tell. The trolls I've torn open. The ghouls I've cleaved. The stories I've been itching to tell. I don't suppose you'd indulge me. Yes, but just the one, or I'll be yammering all night. You want to hear about the Stegosaurus that bullied Candle Keep, the impossible Lich, or the young dragon who crawled out of Deeping Cave? Wizards have a penchant for unusual pets. A flying cat. Delightful. A menagerie of dinosaurs, on the other hand. The wizard in question was called Rylan. Had a half-dozen eggs smuggled into Candlekeep from the jungle. Did you know it takes 10 days for a hatchling Stegosaurus to reach the size of a cave bear? Rylan sure didn't. It wasn't a month before the place was overrun by rampaging Stegos. The great readers dealt with 5 of them without too much trouble. The remaining one, well, young Rylan cast in large on it by mistake. The beast rampaged through the baths, demolished Ogma's temple, and smashed through the east wall. Stegos may not have much taste for meat, but they've got a hell of a temper. Luckily, this one had only clobbered a few farmhouses once I'd caught up. The ground shook as it charged me. I vaulted over the beast and grabbed it by the tail. It bucked and bellowed as I climbed its plates and straddled its head. I plunged a blade into the left eye, straight into the brain. It fell to the ground with a thud. Bet the ravens are still picking at its carcass to this day. I won't lie. Losing the eldritch blasts and the hexes took some getting used to. Nothing but void where once there was hellfire. So, I stoked new fires in myself using the lessons my father once taught me. Now, the Blade of Frontiers is a ranger. A true hunter of monsters. A warden in more than just name. Go on, the night's young. You shouldn't waste a moment of it. Or waste a single drop of wine for that matter. I plan on downing half a bottle myself. Oops, did I say half a bottle? I meant half a dozen. A beautiful night. I wish it could last forever.
Something good here, I hope.
A word, please? It's very, very important. Well met. I am a magical projection of Gale of Waterdeep. And if you see this manifestation, that means I have prematurely perished. Alas, on this occasion I appear to have been erased from this plane in both soul and substance. So the usual protocol for revivification cannot be followed. I am, however, available for the duration of this spell to assist with the tying of any loose ends related to my recent departure from mortality. As I said, I am merely a projection of Gale. A highly accomplished one, reflecting my creator's flair for such magic. But in no way am I the great wizard himself. He is gone. The good news is I am here precisely to assist in cushioning that heaviest of blows. I have been entrusted with the delivery of a letter to be given to one who cared most for me in life. I hope these words do something to ease the tragedy of my untimely and honestly, quite unexpected passing. With that, I'm afraid my spell is waning. Is there anything else you need of me before I blink out of existence? How fortunate I was to know someone like you.
Right. You. Hello. Something caught in your throat, dear? Anyway, I hear congratulations are in order. You helped Mr. Dekarios save Baldur's Gate from the Absolute, isn't that right? I can almost feel Gale here. Among his friends. In you. Some part of him remains, doesn't it? I suppose we do. But I certainly wish we didn't. Oh, what I wouldn't give to snuggle up on his lap one more time. Just once would do. Oh, I couldn't possibly. Unless, well, perhaps it's not a terrible idea. Gale would be quite pleased to know we've made friends, wouldn't he? Perhaps you'd be willing to come meet Gale's mother sometime? She misses him so. And I know it would do her heart a world of good to discuss her son with someone who knew him as he was. Jolly good. I'll tell Mrs. Dekarios to be expecting you. Oh, she'll be delighted. Things just haven't been the same without himself cluttering up the place. Enjoy your party, dear. I've heard you quite deserve a celebration. Rather warmer down south than it is in Waterdeep.
Look what city behind.
A familiar sight. Scratch can't quite speak around the thing he has in his mouth.
So am I. I've got a nice home in the city now. A girl named Mindy says I'm her best friend. She's mine too. Also you. I've got so many best friends, I hardly know who to snuggle. I missed your smell, but this thing I found had you all over it. I brought it for you. And I thought, perhaps you'd like to throw it? You know best. But a little fetch never hurt anyone, as far as I know. I certainly have, and I always will. Forever, I think. And so will you.
All my favorite people in one place. Not to mention all my favorite wines.
Withers has a keen eye for a nice vintage. Why were we scrounging in barrels and crates for supplies when we could sort of...
Oh, boy! Is it lovely to sniff you again? You always know just how to do it.
Seems simple enough.
Thou feelst it still. She is not here. She who was the boldest. Hast thy thoughts been with brave Karlach often? She would not come. Correct. Not in planes material, elemental, nor transitive can her like be found. In but 10 days, an entire life was lived. More than mortal years. Mortal centuries were hers. Thy band, thy bond, gave that life to her. Now thou speakest like me. Thou hast wisdom, after all. In the fugue plane, her soul burns so bright, it pains the gods to look upon. Recall that in time, all changeth and all is rejoined. Thou shalt be with her again. What indeed? Prick up thy ears and listen. The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready, for thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving. To you.